Handbook for the New Paradigm. Introduction Part 5. Indeed, this is a glorious day. The rain falls and the air is clean. Rain is falling generously on the planet and Mother Earth begins the washing of herself in earnest. Is it being engineered? It would appear so, but are their contemptuous machines all that powerful? Do not be so sure. Remember that Earth is a projection of thought and thought is self-aware and interacts within itself to greater or lesser degrees. Would Earth think to a greater or a lesser degree? That is a question to contemplate. This is a moment in which to be aware of the changing of the guard. It seems that the destiny of the planet has been wrested from the control of its inhabitants, as it would appear the control of the Republic of the USA has been taken from its people. Movement within the conscious awareness of the inhabitants present has begun. These levels of consciousness are subtle and they are powerful. Notice of this change in consciousness is not at a vibratory level that will alert the negative forces. Its momentum builds within the subtle powerful planes of energy forces that hold this planet in focus. It is thought interacting within itself. It is acting in concert as a changing perception of the mass consciousness that is similar to a natural shedding process. Like the snake, there is an itchiness that is being felt. This process allows for a time of vulnerability and danger from enemies, for it is an internal process. The snake indeed goes within an available den because during this internal process it becomes literally blind. All focus is within itself as the process goes through its formation of a new outside experience, for it has outgrown its ability to continue as it is. Even the covering of the eyes is changed so that it sees its world anew. Only the death of the snake can prevent this cyclical occurrence, thus it takes great care during this process. This is an apt analogy for our consideration of the progress of mankind through what appears to be a dilemma of great proportion. Just as the fetus grows too large for the womb and must give up its current experience and adventure out into a completely new environment, there are guiding examples throughout nature to suggest this process is a natural phase of manifested life experience. The separation of man from nature through the herding of them into metropolitan areas is not an accident. It has been used many times to suppress individual power to control the experience of life. Closely compacted form is more easily pushed to and fro in the effort of moving individuals into experiences that are contrary to their natural desires toward individual responsibility in choosing their life experience. This herding smothers the natural desires and opens the psyche to influence by the confusion that is drawn within the totality of the being. There is a fundamental call within each for balance. The lack of ability to choose experiences freely causes a distortion of energy pattern that brings intuitional discomfort and searching to change that feeling. This need is then led into unending streams of unfulfilling pursuits by those who would change the destiny of this planetary experience. However, there are ingrained patterns of experience that are reminiscent of the skin shedding process that cannot be distorted. The negative forces have their time schedule that must be met. The timing of this process of human skin changing is not one that they are privy to know, no matter how they analyze and reanalyze the human experience from their perspective. Can you now realize that thought thinking within itself has created fail-safe checks that prevent destruction if at all possible? Again, we are faced with that one element that can put on hold even the fail-safe checks and balances. Free will. Each has personal responsibility for the use of this great gift of the Creator. He has confidence that fragments of himself may enjoy taking themselves to the edge of extinction for the fun of the adventure. But, just as in your action movies, a depiction of this underlying adventurous focus, through perfect timing the hero moves through the scenario with hardly a scratch or at least nothing that cannot be healed. Sometimes you miss the point of the movies. You are now at the critical place in the script. It is time to write in the shift of momentum from the bad guys to the hero, so that he can experience that unexpected twist of the storyline that allows for his harrowing escape, leaving the bad guys holding the bag. Let us hope that this is not a Superman or secret agent adventure in which again there is no end to the bad guy and another adventure between them is waiting in the wings. You have already experienced those scripts. Again, you have missed the point of the movies. Do you feel that sense of satisfaction of evil vanquished when you leave that genre of movie? That is the point of it. To always leave you with the idea that evil remains no matter what you do. Were not your experiences in Korea, Vietnam and Desert Storm outward depictions of this same frustrating movie? All wars have this same result, it has just not been part of the plan until recently to flaunt it so plainly for you to see. Your ability to discern and react is being tested over and over. Why else would items of what is being sanctioned, withheld, from innocent people in Iraq be published in your newspapers? What do these items for personal use of individual innocent people have to do with the prevention of war preparations? These lists were published worldwide. How do you think the people, who uphold their degenerate president who is instigating this, are thought of by the rest of the world? A new movie genre is being released now. In these your people are being held accountable. These depict surges of justifiable retribution, terrorism, and are being planted in the minds of those of other countries. Their ideal of America as the light of the world is being destroyed by your diplomacy of arrogance toward other countries' right of self-determination. These punishments are seen as appropriate by them for they are unable to resist this injustice on a larger scale. The disturbances used as excuses to interfere within the borders of other countries are made to give the appearance that there is a necessity to intervene for the good of the citizens. These contrived situations are a hoax, created by subversive groups like the CIA. The resultant aftermath of your American intervention is hardly what you are told it is. Guilt at having been used as a tool will not serve to end this charade. Do not waste your time on it. Resolve to be a part of the solution in order that this error in perception may be rectified. The wake-up call is being sounded and the internal intuitional agitation to shed the skin of this deceptive controlled experience has begun in earnest. The time of choosing to move with the flow of creation or to remain stuck within the hoax is upon all of humanity. Education, as it is known, is not an advantage. It is within each self-awareness that this process will take place. All are equal in opportunity in this process. Believe that. Purity of response outweighs educational degrees. Those who know the least of what is going on will hear first. You have been educated into the deception that provides the grease upon the wheels of their plans. You have been fooled into supporting them as they carried forth their plans, that so far have been focused upon the uneducated and those unable to oppose the power you are giving the manifested evil ones through consent by believing their lies.